I started the day today observing the energies around me and energies going through my field. And it felt somewhat strange because there were things which were going through which seemed contradicting each other. For example, at one moment would be a feeling of uh, huge frustration due to challenges from the outside world or whatever thoughts were crossing my field. And then the next moment would be somewhat a feeling of excitement. So, and I've noticed that, and I started thinking, how is that possible? How can I be frustrated and excited at the same time? And then I somewhat came to the conclusion that at this um, point of time, somehow we are learning to exist in somewhat different way. It's a point where this is very much possible to feel frustration and excitement at the same time. It's almost like frustration is because of something old, which um, is still here, and there is wait for it to go away, but it's not going away, and excitement for the new, which is to come, but it's still not here. So they do both exist in this somewhat strange um, moment of existence. And I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling this way. It is very strange. It's almost like tapping to two different energy whales, and one brings you this way, and the other one brings you that way. So like they're pulling you. They're pulling for you. They're pulling for your consciousness, both of them. And depending on your own consciousness field, at one moment you feel this, and the next moment you feel that. And it's even more difficult to be able to observe this state of consciousness. It could be parallel timelines, which many of us are experiencing at this moment, and the good thing is we are even able to somewhat identify this and be able to talk about it. So I decided to call this recording Beauty in a Chaos, and the word of the day, harmony. I purposefully wanted to think about harmony just to see how is harmony going to help with the state of consciousness and neutralize or rebalance that state of being. So when I started thinking of harmony, the first thing which came to mind, just because I happened to look at that little beautiful shell, which I found this morning, and I started thinking about Fibonacci's transform, or Fibonacci's sequences, or there are so many things related to what he discovered he lived in Italy. I don't know he may have been in Florence, because he was very curious about how people are coming from different places were doing trades with different numeric systems, either Arabic or Roman or what have you they had at that time. And he was recording all of this. So Fibonacci, son of Binacci, I think, Fibonacci, I think his name was Leonardo. You know, all these geniuses named Leonardos who lived in Italy, right? So what he came to find was he found this sequence of numbers, which is very simple, so ingenious. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 24, so on. And what is it? 1 plus 1, 2. 1 plus 2, 3. 2 plus 3, 5. 3 plus 5, 8. 5 plus 8, 13. 8 plus 13, 21. 21 plus 13, 34, and so on to infinity. That's what he found. So, and also this sequence goes in the positive numbers expansion as well as in the negative number scale. His sequence, it has been used in mathematics since. It can be looked upon as a rule. There are many different arithmetic rules created based on it. But what I find to be the most interesting one is exactly that expression here, which if the Fibonacci numbers are plugged into a polygon, and the first 7, they're plugged into a polygon, and that polygon has specific, the sides have specific measurements, but they're divided into squares, and then a line is drawn through the squares. It turns into a spiral. And if this is done with the positive numbers, the spiral goes upwards. And if it's done with the negative numbers, the spiral goes downwards. So actually, I was playing with this when I was bored during the pandemic time, and I did my own merge. So this is what I actually used for my merge. So this is what pretty much the Fibonacci's transform does when it's plugged into squares and a line is drawn to form a spiral. Oh, I call this the fabulous Fibonacci. I think I have this on t-shirts. That's an excellent meditation drawing. Just by looking at it, you seem to remember again. You seem to pretty much go home through this drawing. Oh, and by the way, my boresomeness must have been really big during those times and when we had to wear masks, and then I decided if I'm going to wear a mask, I better make a statement. So here it comes. I have a mask with this transformation as well. So amazing. So this the Fibonacci sequence, and I also, when ruminating on all of this, I was thinking there is no way all living things, organic things on the planet, to comply with this spiral Fibonacci sequence. I have a lot of paintings of flowers around the house, roses, tulips, sunflowers. They all have it. Even the trees outside, they also have the same structure, the leaves, everything. That little shell, seashells, sea life, everything. So why wouldn't a human organic structure DNA comply with the same thing? Because it is complying. So, and I look at some of my drawings again. So this is what I've been talking about a lot, how our energy centers, they recombine through the heart energy center in one perfect wavy motion. 1 and 7, 2 and 6, 3 and 5, they flip, they weave, they flip, and then they go backwards. 7, 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, all through the heart center. And this completes one full cycle. So this is like we're weaving our biofield, and this is where everything gets recorded in this present moment. I talked about how we live in this discrete moment by moment creation, or discrete film, which to the senses seems continuous, but we really do create everything a moment by moment through our energetic structure, which that intelligent consciousness package that contains our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations, everything is in here. But when the flip-flop and weaving happens in the middle, this is where manifestation happens, magic happens. That point has no gravity. It's infinite and finite at the same time. And when the physical form ends, through this recording, never ever anything gets lost. It's all recorded. All right, so this is my belief. This is what I've seen in my intuitive imagery, how we are weaving through time, time-space continuum, and how this is one humongous pulse, and we're part of this pulse, and how we live in this reflectory holographic hologram, which is expressed in form, being us at this point of time, and we're not disconnected from anything else. So I talked about this before as well, but we are not only shape and electromagnetic energy, which is color expressed in different colors as well, the 7 colors of the rainbow, but we are also sound. So thinking of harmony and sound, of course, these Italians again, the solfeggio frequencies came to mind. And I think the solfeggios were very well recorded somewhere around maybe the 10th century in Italy again, in some monasteries where monks were chanting. They had chimes, singing bowls, chants, and they started recording the tonality and how these sounds were affecting their bodies. So, and this is well recorded again. If you do your own research on the internet, you'll find the frequencies and you'll find the history behind the solfeggio frequencies. And by the way, in Europe, the note system is different. It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, and it very much complies with the solfeggio frequencies, which back then, to finish my thought, I think they were called by Saint John the Baptist, the chants of Saint John the Baptist. So those chants, they go by, and I spoke about this before, the solfeggio frequencies are also a sound similar to what Fibonacci frequency is for shape. They're a sound which harmonizes our organic structure, our energy centers at many different levels, starting with the lower one. So let's say we begin with 396. We're helping the removal of low-level frequencies, 396 in hertz. So we're helping the removal of lower frequencies in terms of fear and guilt, primarily, probably the lowest one could experience. And then moving upwards, challenges with change, challenges with relationships. There is 1528 hertz, which is believed to help with DNA repair. Although I believe if we help our emotions and remove those old programs from the system or from the field, and the field, it's reflectory in each cell and outside of the body. I spoke about this before as well. What's above, so below. What's in, that is out. The emerald tablets, right? So the solfeggio frequencies, from a sound perspective, are also harmonizing, neutralizing, rebalancing. So do your own research and go and listen to some of those tones. I think for me, higher I go, 963 or higher, it's more. It gives me more potent energy by listening to them, and they are available everywhere on the internet. So I suggest you go and check them out and see what they do for you, if they help. So one additional thing which I wanted to mention was some time ago I was ruminating on how are we, and this ties into the beginning when I started saying experiencing two timelines at the same time, frustration and excitement at the same time. How is this possible? So I was ruminating on, is our soul captured in, our three-dimensional soul captured in this fourth-dimensional shell of existence? And then what came to me was, yeah, sure enough, but that's not it. So first of all, and here it is, that usually, that board is magnetic on my refrigerator. So assuming the little human soul in the middle of that cube, which cannot escape, but creates many different realities, and even every thought spurs a new reality, creates a new timeline, may not manifest in the physical, but it is there, it exists. And imagine this like a tree with many different branches and branches on top of branches. So everything exists. Every thought creates a timeline. And if it's mixed with the right emotion, and it's really exciting, it does manifest in the physical. Energy leads the manifestation. Then I wanted to, but we're not limited to this. In our ascension and expansion process, which is happening now, that wave, which is at the bottom, the ±3 wave, different expression of what I was showing with the flip-flop of the energy centers, can expand to ±6 deltas, ±9 deltas. A huge expansion of the wave, and that's the weaving of the DNA as well. So we're not only going to be 3-string braided DNA, we're going to add 2 more braids interwoven with the existing one. So we'll have 3 braids, 3-string braids braided together. So it's an expansion of our DNA through the light-dark potential codes. I have a little drawing at the bottom, which is like the perpetuum mobile, which never stops. It's the expression, the kinetic expression of the potential energy, the expression of the dark into the light. So I just wanted to share this one as well for a little perspective for anyone. And I think this is all I wanted to talk about today. Fabulous.